77 to 79. And I think it was when we were in second grade, I think Ted taught the practice class in the 9th floor conference room. Remember on the side, not his side, but the other side of the floor, there was a conference room. And I loved him as a teacher, but I never really quite understood Ted. He said something to me in that class that I still remember, and I still don't know exactly how I feel about it. The conversation, as I remember a little bit, was at that time, don't forget this was the 70s, and we were coming out of the 60s and the influence of many things that got played out in the social welfare world in the 70s. And there was, during that time, some of you remember this, like, sensitivity of the clients and what the client might want and might think, and people were even putting clients on committee. I don't know if you remember all that. And I don't know what I said about it, or some, maybe the client didn't like this, or what, I don't know. And he turned to me, was sitting right next to me, and he said, "Lois, poor does not make smart." I'm telling you, I still remember it. But once, then I was hired out in the Valley to be the JCRC director as I got out of school, and or I was going to be hired. And Ted was scary for us. I don't know if other students remember. I mean, the 9th floor, it was powerful. And he had minions. He'd walk down the hall and he was always in black, and you were with Herb and you were with him, Esther. There was sort of like this parade. He had his people. And Murray Wood offered me this job, and a classmate of mine, who many of you know, named Rick Meyer, he ended up going to Minneapolis, but both of us had what? No, in the beginning, Minneapolis. Okay. First, Minneapolis. And he and I were both offered the job in Minneapolis, and we were both offered the job in Los Angeles, and so I negotiated what it was going to be with Jerry, and with Murray Wood. You know what the salary was? $16,700 in 1979. And I had to go have like the rubber stamp interview with Ted. And he was scary. Remember, he had that button and the door could close, and he had a bathroom and a shower, and he could be living in there as far as I knew. And so here this little Fisher guy come in, and he offers me less. He tries to get me for, I don't know, I think it was like another 1,000 something less. And I didn't know what to do. I was like scared, and I didn't agree. I don't know how I got myself out of there, and I went up to the 10th floor. And do you remember on the 10th floor, there was all those fundraisers, one office after another office, and they were all involved in the union in those days. I think Alice and Miriam Stone, they were all, and I told them what happened. I barely knew them because I hadn't worked in campaign. I was a JCRC intern in the Valley and also some campaign in the Valley. And they said, "You go back, don't fight this thing." They offered the 16.7 to Rick Meyer, "You're gonna get it." And I did, but they said, "Don't do it yourself. You go back to Murray Wood, you let him fight." And Murray and Ted didn't stop fighting for 1 minute. They were always fighting. So I got my 16.7. I remember that. So I don't know where I came to be brave enough. We respected him and we learned from him, but I think you're right, Esther. He was not a warm fuzzy. And it was, I don't know how other people who came in after me felt, but it was not easy. Steve, you're shaking your head. He was formidable, and he kind of kept himself like, I didn't ever really understand or know what he was feeling, whereas Murray would, his kishkas were on the floor, like mine. Doesn't know what was going on. Anyways, those are a few things. I have other memories too, but before I sit down, I couldn't help thinking on my way up here about everybody who's not here in this world either anymore, who was a part of that world for me. And I told a few of you that I was thinking about who these people were, and you gave me names of people who died since those days. I'm going to read them just so they should be present with us, because they were part of our team. Jack Dauber, who was also my teacher at HUC. Eileen Silverstrom, remember? Was Ted's secretary. Incredible woman. Alan Casson, a mensch, a professional, was the Metro Region, somebody said. Was hired to be the first Metro Region director, remember? Bobby Asimov, also gone. So, like my contemporary, and gone already many years. Someone I didn't know, Trudy Friedman. That was Jerry Friedman Haybush of blessed memory, his mother-in-law.
He was her secretary.
He went before Eileen?
No, before Helen.
Before
Her
Helen.
secretary.
Her secretary. I remember who she is, like I can see the picture of her, but I didn't really know her. Faye Farber, also I didn't know. And then my particular group, I feel like the giants on whose...
What about Jerry Weber?
Wait, give me mine, here's my group. Jean Levine. Some of you remember Jean, we worked in the Valley together. Janet is one of my best friends, his widow. Harmon Ballin, Bill Levin, these are the Valley, the best, incredible lay leaders. Mike Barish, I mean, I keep Mike's picture, you know, on my, now it was always in my office, those of you who knew my ninth floor office up until recently. It's now on my bookshelf at home.
Lois, I wear this little hamsi that Mike bought me from Israel. He had this
Right.
little one, and I said,
I mean, these guys, I said to Esther on the phone earlier today, these guys were larger than life. I mean, Jerry Weber, what can I say? I'll never forget that funeral and all of us, oh my, and Jerry Friedman Haybush too, also a contemporary of mine, gone, Jerry Friedman Haybush. So I just, especially Mike and Jerry had a very big influence on my career, and they're not here, and Ted too, because despite my little controversy of making sure the woman got the same amount of money, you know, he hired me, and he was my teacher. And so I wanted to remember all those other folks. Did anybody have anyone else they want to mention? I think it's Eric Heilman.